Hello and welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I have made a TTC update related video, but today's video is one I've been wanting to make for a long time. It is talking about the fertility medications that I've taken and the side effects that I experienced and how you take them, why you take them. So it's been a video that I wanted to kind of make after I had some trial and errors and taken it for a while to give you some good feedback. Now, granted, this is all based off of my experience, so every person is different. Every person's body reacts differently to all these medications, but I wanted to tell you what I've experienced thus far with the medications that I've taken, which will be Clomid, Metformin, and Provera. But before I get into the video, I want to thank you guys for sticking with me. It's been a long couple of months. And it's not that I didn't want to make any videos. I did. I've just had a lot going on and there wasn't a whole lot of updates. And I've just been kind of frustrated, and I realize now that making these videos helps me, and I know it helps a lot of you guys. I've connected with a bunch of you guys, and it's been really cool. So I've just had a lot going on. We moved. My job's getting busy, it's that time of the year, and we just had a bunch going on, and that's it. So before I get into the video, I want to thank everyone for coming back that's been here. If you're new here, my name's Mackenzie Jump. I do TTC related videos here on YouTube, and I just share my experiences, frustrations, and all of the above. So before I get into it, I do kind of want to give a quick TTC update. There's not a whole lot to update, but I know a lot of people have been asking me what's going on. Are you pregnant? What's the deal? And I just want to let everyone know. So if you're new here, I have PCOS, very irregular cycles. I don't ovulate on my own, and I have been off birth control going on 2 years now. So, coming up on my first full year of basically the infertility label after seeing a doctor and everything. So to kind of bring everyone up to speed, December we had to take off. Basically, it was involuntary. It was kind of good timing because that's when he closed on our house, but we had to take off because my lining did not completely shed. So I'll get into this a little bit more, but I took Provera to induce a period. Lining didn't shed. So my doctor's like, hey, let's take the month off. Let's start next year strong, clean you out, and we'll go from there. So January rolls around, and I had to take that month off too, unfortunately. And the reason for that was I had a cyst, and they don't like to go forward with medical drug treatment when you've got a cyst, and the chances that it could grow it, that kind of thing. So we're like, okay, well, we'll take that month off too, and we'll come back next cycle and see what we can do. So February rolls around, go in for my baseline ultrasound again, and what do you know, lining didn't shed again. So here we are. I'm cycle day, I think 30 today, and nothing. Didn't ovulate, haven't started my period yet, which is normal for me at least, and just a little bit frustrated. Definitely disappointed. It was, like I said, okay timing because everything we had going on, but it's still frustrating to know that you've had 3 months pass without being able to do anything because your body's it's not doing what it's supposed to do, which we all have experienced that. If you're watching this video, you've had trouble having a baby, and my heart goes out to you because it is incredibly frustrating. So here we are. The plan is I'm supposed to let my doctors know tomorrow, which is Tuesday, if I've started my period or if I'm pregnant. Neither of those so far. And then we will start Provera. So that is what's going on. Yeah, so let's just jump into the video. So like I said, I'm going to talk about the 3 drugs that I've taken. I've taken Clomid. This will be going on my 5th round. I've taken Provera for quite a few cycles now, and I have taken Metformin before as well. So our plan for next cycle, just to kind of update you guys on that, is we are going to be doing what we were supposed to be doing until I couldn't go forward with the medication this cycle, which is my highest dose, and the highest dosage they'll give you of Clomid of 200 milligrams. And then we are planning excuse me, planning to use the trigger shot, which I've had for 4 months now and have not been able to use. We wanted to really save it for the month that we know was going right because it's not cheap. It was $100, but that's still $100 that you don't want to have to spend, but sometimes you have to. So that's the plan as long as the cycle goes good. I'm going to take Provera for 10 days, go in on cycle day 3 for a baseline, make sure everything's good. If it is, I'll take Clomid for 5 days, and then we'll do follow-up scans to see when I can use my trigger shot. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to start talking about the medications kind of in order of which I've taken them. So I'll start with Metformin. So I'll tell you what Metformin is. Metformin is a drug. Now, not a doctor. This is just what I know, the knowledge that I've gained, and the experiences that I have. So, side note. Metformin is a drug that's given to 2 people. Those with diabetes and those with PCOS. And in my case, it was PCOS. And what they hoped it to do was to basically regulate the insulin absorption or the insulin levels, which would in turn hopefully regulate my cycle. Now, this was the first drug I had ever taken last year to hopefully like restart my cycle, because at that time I was over 190-day cycle. I hadn't had a period since I had gotten off birth control, and it was due. So that was the plan. Now, going into taking Metformin, my doctor told me you might get some side effects, but what I want you to do is kind of gradually get onto this medication. So in the end, she wanted me to take 3 pills a day at separate times. So 1 pill 3 times a day. And she wanted me to start the first week with 1 pill, second week 2 pills, third week 3 pills. So in my head, I'm like, okay, there's a reason for that, but I guess we will find out. I didn't ask a whole lot of questions. I had kind of done some research on Metformin prior to that. I kind of knew it was something that I'd probably end up having to take. And I knew that, you know, there's side effects like IBS kind of stuff, headaches, just your normal everything you seem to read on every prescription. So I'll start off by saying I'm not a fan at all. In the long run, did it help me start my cycle? I think so. Or was it just the fact that my body's like, you're due for one, I'll give you one? I don't know. But here's how it went. I took Metformin for probably 3 months. And the first day, I was about to say the first week, but that's inaccurate. The first day, it was like I had spent 24 hours eating Taco Bell, and then Mexican Villa comes in and they're like, oh, you want to add some of our hot sauce to that food? And I was like, yep, I sure do. And I was pretty much married to the toilet nonstop. And I'm talking the toilet run where you're just like sitting there like outside with your husband, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit. If there's not a toilet underneath my butt in 2 seconds, I'm going to be my own baby and have the worst blowout of a lifetime. And I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. Like, it was that bad. And I am in sales. So can you imagine being in your busiest season and having to sell a side-by-side to a customer when all you can think about is making an Olympic pass to the restroom? And by that I mean running so fast that you could win an award. It sucked. I'm having flashbacks. I'm pretty sure I have PTSD with Metformin. Like, that should be a side effect. I think so. They need to put that on their label. Anyways, so yeah, I was like, this really sucks. I'm not enjoying this very much, but you know what? It's going to get better, Mackenzie. They said it'll get better. That's why they're weaning you on to it, because it's going to get better. So I pushed through it. Did it get better? No. I just learned to be around the bathroom at specific times. Went to week 2 and was taking 2 pills a day. Still sucked. Yep, still sucked pretty bad. Week 3, 3 pills a day. Yep, still sucked. Didn't get much better. I think I just learned how to cope with the shits. And, you know, in my normal life, I don't have IBS, but I feel like I have some type of it, because after I eat, normally I am in the bathroom within 10 to 15 minutes. So this is coming from someone who's kind of used to that, and it still sucked. So don't let that make you scared though. Take it, try it, because it could be totally different for you. My experience is similar to some of my friends' experiences on it, so maybe that's just part of it. But it's supposed to help, and it helped one of my friends get pregnant. So it's all about the hormone balance. But it was causing some crazy hormones in my brain because I was spending most of my day in the bathroom, and I did not like that at all. So that didn't go well. Other than Taco Bell shits, I had hot flashes like nobody's business. We would be like driving in the car, air conditioning on, I'm just chilling, and then all of a sudden Jerry's looking over at me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, whew. What is it, like 80 degrees in here? Oh my god, it was bad. And you know what's funny is I had hot flashes with Clomid, which I'll talk about in a minute, and it's like different circumstances like caused me to have hot flashes, and it had nothing to do with me being nervous or anything like that. It was just so weird. So hot flashes sucked. And the last thing that was really bad was the heartburn. Major heartburn. This is the only pill medication related to fertility I've taken that's given me heartburn, and it was like someone had lit a fire in my esophagus and I couldn't put it out. I drank so much heartburn medication, took Tums, which was the only thing that kind of touched it, but that's only temporary. It lasts for like 30 minutes. I mean, that's why you can take like 50 Tums in a day. Don't do that, but you probably could and it'd be fine. So yeah, the heartburn was major, and that didn't start until the end of the first week, and it kind of eventually went away. Honestly, I don't remember, so that could be the fact that I just got used to it, or it actually went away. But it totally sucked, and it was all day long. Like, no matter what I ate, I could not eat and still have it, but that was not fun. The reason why I stopped taking metformin was because, like I mentioned earlier, you have to take, in the end, once you get onto it fully, I at least had to take it. I can't speak apparently. I had to take it 3 times a day, and they suggest that you take it with food, and my schedule is so all over the place when it's in busy season at my work, so I could not realistically keep that schedule of taking it 3 times a day, because there are days that I don't get to eat lunch because we're so busy. And then having to remember to do it in the morning and actually having to eat breakfast, and then remembering to do it at night when I get home, I'm tired, but I want to spend time with my husband, and then we goof around, then we cook, or vice versa, and then I'm like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, shit, I didn't take my freaking metformin. I'm like, oh, it's fine, I'll go a day without this 3rd pill, it's no big deal. And then I just recognize that, and I'm like, what's the point in paying for the medication, taking the medication, when I can't commit to the strict schedule of it? It's not gonna work if I just half-ass it. So I tried to restart myself and be super strict about it, but in the end, I just could not keep that schedule. Now, if I had like a desk job or a job that my attention wasn't required like every second, it would be different, and I would probably be for it, because all the side effects started to kind of go away when my body started getting used to it. So it probably would have been okay, and it could have helped. So there's that. So if you're going to go on metformin, those are my experiences with it. I hope you don't get those, but it's not permanent. I'm sure the side effects eventually go away. You just have to really commit to the strict schedule of taking it. So let's get into Clomid. What is Clomid? Clomid is a drug that basically helps induce ovulation. And from what I understand, it basically helps grow your eggs to the point of which it's time for them to release and ovulate. So, since I don't ovulate on my own, this was a drug that I knew what I would eventually have to take, that or Provera, and I knew that the dosage could vary, and it's all trial and error. Infertility is completely all trial and error. Like, you never know what's going to work for you, even if it works for the person next to you. You basically just have to try it and hope it works, and if it doesn't, you move on. So in my doctor's office, you can take Clomid for 6 cycles, and the highest dosage that they'll give is 200 milligrams. So we started at 50 milligrams. You take it for 5 days. I took it cycle day 3 through 7. Yeah, 3 through 7. And my first cycle on it, I don't think I ovulated. I don't think I ovulated until either 100 or 150 milligrams. Now, PCOS, in case you don't really know, is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it basically means you've got a bunch of follicles in each ovary. You know, sometimes 3 times the amount of a normal person with a regular cycle. So, in my brain, how I explain it is, if I've got that many eggs, of course my body's not going to produce the right amount of hormones or anything to grow all of them to make one of them dominant when you have that many that are just sucking the life out of your body, but still not growing. I said in one of my last videos, like, can't all the eggs go to growing school? Like, we have to go to school and we learn. Like, can't those eggs go to growing school and be like, nope, natural selection, you're out, you're out, you're out. These 3 are sticking. Will we have triplets? I don't know, but maybe one will stick. But they don't go to school. No such thing, unfortunately. So, my experience on Clomid. The lower dosages didn't really do much to me. I did take them at night before I went to bed because I had read and heard a bunch of people talking about how they took it at night in hopes to kind of avoid any side effects and just sleep through them. And that really worked for me. Like, right after taking the pill overnight, I never had any side effects. Even to this day, having been on 150 milligrams, never any side effects like that night. The only side effects that I really had that were kind of immediate over the 5 days that I would take it, after about the first day, hot flashes. Those were serious. And it was, like, comical. It never fails. Like, every time I take Clomid and I go to the fabric store, I quilt, by the way. Every time I would take Clomid and go to the fabric store, I would catch myself in the middle of an aisle. Now, this is like the most relaxing thing to me, is to go and to look at like thousands of bolts of fabric and just like want to spend all my monies, but I don't. And that does not stress me out at all. So the hot flashes have no connection to that, to like stress. But I would like catch myself in the middle of the aisle, literally pouring sweat down my face. And those aisles are already pretty skinny. So like having to like sneak by people when you're sweating in a fabric store, and then you're like wiping all the sweat off you, and then you're like, oh my god, I've got to touch fabric, and then you're like hand sanitizing it, and it's just, it was not fun. So yeah, hot flashes are just weird. I felt like I was going through menopause at 27. I'm like, nope. But it's just kind of funny. No, I don't have the virus. I'm just getting over a cold. Also, how crazy is everything going on? Like, I tried to buy toilet paper today, and I know everyone's trying to buy toilet paper. I went to Sam's Club, nothing. Walmart, nothing. Dollar General, nothing. And I'm like on my last roll, and I'm like, gosh, I'm gonna be washing a lot of towels. No, but really, kind of sad. Anyways, so hot flashes with Clomid. Next thing is headaches. If there is one thing in this world that I am a huge baby about, it is headaches. I would rather have a broken foot or no hair. Well, actually, I take that one back. I'd rather have hair. Or like the worst gas pains in the world. I cannot handle migraines. And yeah, these aren't even headaches. These are full-blown migraines. Horrible. And it was like all 5 days that I took it. Now, once I stopped, and it was like the day after my last pill, I wouldn't really get them. But man, those headaches totally sucked. Like Tylenol, ibuprofen does not even touch it. And I'm sure a lot of other women are this way, but when I'm in the middle of a cycle, like close to ovulation, I am very particular on the pain medication that I take because I don't want to mess anything up. So I try to only take Tylenol, but then I'm like, but I need like 4 Tylenol, and I'm like, but you can't take that many. But I probably could, and it'd be fine. But you get where I'm coming from. Yeah, major headaches. I hope you guys don't get those because those totally sucked. So hot flashes and headaches were kind of like the very short-term, short-lived side effects that I got. After my third round of Clomid, I started getting, and this is my third side effect on Clomid, I started getting kind of blurred vision. And this was very gradual. So it was like every now and then I'd go like this, like focus my eyes, and seeing the computer at work was harder, and seeing long distances was harder, and driving at night was harder. And I'm like, what is going on? And so after about a month, I finally looked it up, and sure enough, Clomid can cause blurred vision. And by this time, I had already went to the eye doctor. Granted, my insurance does not cover anything eye related. So I went to those like places that you go and they're like 3 pairs for $69, but then you realize it's like little kids $69 frames, and then you got to pay for the exam. And anyways, that was a $400 ordeal. But I had already went to the doctor and got some glasses mainly for driving. And then I just ordered some of those like blue lens things for my computer screen and thought maybe that would help. And I almost was like, man, is my blurred vision causing headaches too? But it wasn't. Well, it was, but not the Clomid headaches. So finally, when I found out that it caused blurred vision, I contacted my doctor and I was like, hey, I think I had to get glasses because of these Clomid pills. And she was like, man, it doesn't happen very often in my patients, but it is a side effect of Clomid. She was like, so we can either go forward with the 200 milligrams. And this was after my fourth cycle on Clomid. And I was going into my fifth, and it was going to be 200 milligrams. And she was like, we can go into it. At this point, you've only got 2 cycles left that you can take Clomid. But if it makes you uncomfortable, we can switch to something else. And I'm like, look, at this point, I've already spent the money on the glasses. If I'm going to have more blurred vision, like kind of temporarily, whatever, so be it. We know that Clomid works for me. So the last thing I want to do is opt out of the highest dosage that could potentially work for me and then start completely over with another medication that could possibly not work for me. So I was like, nope, we're doing it. Just ignore my blurred vision. If it gets that bad, I'll let you know. So that was kind of a weird side effect. Everything else that I had taken and had side effects for, it was pretty like non-important, but the blurred vision kind of worried me just a hair. So those were my side effects on Clomid. I'm a huge Clomid fan because when you go as many cycles as I did, never getting a positive ovulation test, and finally getting one, it is the biggest relief because you can't have a baby if you don't ovulate. And I didn't care about my irregular cycles. Like, as long as I could ovulate, that was my main goal. And Clomid made me do that. They just didn't quite get to the point of where it needed to be. I don't know. So that leads me to my third drug, which could probably have been number 2 because I started taking this drug kind of at the same time as Clomid, and that is Provera. So what Provera is basically a synthetic progesterone, and you take it for, or at least I take it for 10 days. I start taking it when I should have started my period, and I take it for 10 days, and what it does is it causes basically withdrawal bleeding, and it sheds the lining of your uterus, causes a period essentially. Which obviously hasn't worked every time because my lining didn't shed completely. But I will say I have an above average lining thickness. So I don't know if maybe it's harder for my body to shed it because it's so much thicker than a lot of other people, which is a bittersweet problem to have because it's thick, so maybe it's harder to shed it. But if I ever do get pregnant, a thick uterus lining is super, super awesome. It helps with implantation and keep the baby. So I'm thankful for that, even though there's a downside of it not shedding, and I've felt that downside the last couple months. But so, like I said, with Provera, it's for people who don't have regular cycles and it needs to be induced. So that's actually what I'll be taking tomorrow, 10 days of Provera. And usually about 3 days after my last pill is when I start my period. It can take anywhere from 3 to 10 days is normal for you to start bleeding after your last Provera. Okay, you get it. But there are some side effects to Provera. They aren't really that bad. I only have one that was like totally sucked, and that is the first night of full bleeding after I've taken Provera is hell. The cramps that I have are absolutely unreal. I have never really had bad cramps with my cycles in my entire life. Occasionally I'd have a pretty bad one. But this is like the worst gas pain you've ever had, lower back pain. Like, it's had me so nauseous. I am terrified of throwing up, so I haven't thrown up yet, but there were many times that if I would have looked at a toilet, I would have been puking. They totally suck. Now, it's usually only the first night, and they start around dinner time and last almost all the way through the night to like 4 or 5 in the morning. So those have been really rough. It's like heating pad, a bunch, and that's the point where I'm like, I'm not close to ovulation yet. I'm taking all the pain medication that I can, Tylenol, ibuprofen, whatever. Yeah, totally sucked. So I kind of know when it's coming now, and I just get the heating pad out, plug it in, have it ready, go ahead and take some ibuprofen, Tylenol, whatever, and it sucks. The only other thing I experienced when on Provera, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, is very vivid dreams. Now, I want to, like, say this. I have always been a dreamer. I have dreams all the time, and I'm talking about very clear dreams. Dreams that I don't want to have, dreams that I do want to have. I've just always been a dreamer, always. But the dreams on Provera are just like, and I have vivid dreams often, but there's just something different. It's just, I don't know, I can't explain it, but the dreams are for real on Provera. That is no joke. Which doesn't bother me because I like dreams, so no big deal. But there's been some nights where I woke up real mad at Jerry or real in love with Jerry, so bless his heart for putting up with me. So that is my experiences on Metformin, Clomid, and Provera. I hope this helped you a little bit. I hope it doesn't scare you at all, because in the end, I chose to still take them all, with the exception of Metformin, but it was mainly the scheduling with that. Everything's worth it. I mean, we do all these things to ourselves. We spend all the kind of money, the research, the everything in hopes to have a baby. So that's my goal, and if these medications get me there, then I'm okay with it. I hope this helped you. I hope it didn't scare you, like I said. If you have any questions regarding any of those, please comment down below. Go follow me on Instagram. Message me. I love connecting with you guys and answering any questions that you have, anything like that. So, hope that was helpful to you. Yeah. Oh, kind of side note. So, I've been talking about this new camera that I've gotten for a while, and I finally figured out how to use it. And you're going to laugh at me because all this time I'm like, I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to transfer the videos over to my laptop. Literally takes 5 seconds. And I actually filmed this video last week on my camera, and it was 12 minutes long, and here we are 30 minutes later. It's funny how that works, because the first time I filmed it, it cut me off at like 13 minutes. So then I'm like, oh, okay, I got a timeline. So then I re-recorded it, and recorded it all in 13 minutes, and here I am again, 30 minutes, and it's the same kind of stuff. And I watched the video, and just to be real with you guys, I thought I looked really fat in that video, and this is sad to say because I'm a pretty confident person, but I just didn't want to post it. I was just like kind of down on myself, and I looked at it and I'm like, man, I don't like that I look like that. And maybe it was the angle, I don't know. But I don't know. I'm pretty hard on myself. Like, I'm a confident person. I like the person that I am. But I think when I don't look in a mirror and I cannot see myself, I think and I feel like I look like I did when I was playing high school soccer or college soccer, or when I was in college. I feel like I still look like that. So then whenever I look in a mirror or take a video of myself and I'm reminded that I don't, it's just really upsetting. And I don't like that. And I should do something about it. But the excuse that I have is that by the time I get off work and come home and cook and spend time with my husband, like, honestly, the last thing I want to do is go to the gym. And whenever we're in race season, we're busy all the time, and it's so much fun. But one thing I will say is the place that we moved to now, We live on back roads basically. So I can walk with Duke now, or I can run if I want to. Where we lived before, we lived kind of like on a major highway. There was no good place to run. And last time I tried to run with the cows, like they all ended up following me around, and then I was kind of cornered, and I was like, well, there's about 500 of them against one of me, so I ain't gonna take those odds. So I ran as fast as I could back to the house, which I'm not scared of cows, but they get curious. So anyways, side note. But thank you guys for watching. As always, I love all of you guys. It's getting dark outside. I know you can tell because my face looks red, but it's not. It might be also breaking out really bad. Thanks, imbalanced hormones. I've been trying to control that, drinking a bunch of water, eating healthy, but still doesn't help. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Let me know if you want me to make a video on something specific related to TTC, non-related to TTC. I am here for your recommendations. All right, love you guys. Bye.